Despite their effectiveness, these drones are not without limitations. Electronic interference and radio jamming systems can disrupt their connection to operators, rendering them ineffective. The proliferation of cheap drones is fundamentally altering the nature of warfare in Ukraine, offering a cost-effective means of delivering accurate firepower. Currently, Russian forces are scrambling to field countermeasures for protecting tanks against one-way attack drones, which experts say are a growing challenge even for vehicles traveling at speed. In the large category of unmanned aerial vehicles, the class of first-person view drones, essentially steerable miniature warheads, have emerged as a ubiquitous threat. One-way attack drones such as FPV or loitering munitions provide a beyond line-of-sight capability that enable the operator to follow tanks to their concealed staging areas or departure points and strike them 24/7, Federico Borsari, a fellow at the Washington-based Center for European Policy Analysis think tank said. While these systems, drone FPV can also chase and strike moving tanks in their most vulnerable points, especially the rear exhaust of the engine. The threat posed by these weapons has reportedly led U.S. officials to request that donated Abrams main battle tanks no longer be used on the front lines until commanders come up with new tactics. Samuel Bendet, a research analyst at the U.S.-based Center for Naval Analysis think tank, said tanks used as breaching vehicles in frontal attacks have proven to be especially vulnerable. In the last 2 months, a number of Russian tanks were spotted sporting unusual types of armor, including improvised metal roofs layered with metal grills. Ukrainian social media channels have nicknamed these vehicles turtle tanks, while Russian Telegram accounts have referred to them as Tsar Mongol or Tsar's BBQs. The purpose of these countermeasures is to set off drones' explosive charge early in order to decrease the chance of projectiles penetrating the hull, but results have been mixed. In the case of the turtle tank, add-on log armor and metal plates, installed to create a full-fledged metal shell completely covering 3 sides and the top of the tank, make it impossible to rotate the turret and significantly limit the vehicle's visibility, Borsari said. Russian and Ukrainian forces have also made extensive use of different electronic warfare capabilities, including mounting multi-frequency jammers on the roof of tanks to disrupt or jam the radio frequencies of adversary drones. While many analysts consider electronic warfare to be the most promising defense against small drone variants, Borsari said that both sides are also trialing novel workarounds, creating a constant cat-and-mouse game. Footage has emerged on Telegram showing FPV drones damaging and immobilizing combat vehicles Russian and Ukraine, but experts highlight that destroying a tank requires the deployment of several of these weapons by experienced pilots. At this point, successful FPV attacks against tanks are contingent on pilot experience. It takes a lot to destroy a tank, and only the best and most experienced ones can maneuver their drone at exactly the right spot to strike, Bendet said. On the same day, an advanced Russian air defense system and 2 fighter jets were damaged in a Ukrainian long-range missile strike on a key airbase in Crimea, according to an independent Russian media report. A pair of MiG-31 fighter jets were destroyed, and an S-400 air defense system was damaged after Ukraine attacked the Belbek military airfield close to the western Crimean city of Sevastopol overnight between Tuesday and Wednesday. Independent Russian outlet Astra reported on Thursday, citing anonymous sources in Crimean emergency services, a warehouse stocked with fuel caught fire. A Crimean Telegram channel said on Wednesday that a fuel depot was hit at the Belbek airfield and a fire started. Early on Wednesday, Russia's defense ministry said its air defenses had intercepted 10 U.S.-provided Army Tactical Missile System (ATACMS) missiles over Crimea overnight. The U.S. has furnished Kyiv with several different types of ATACMS, including shorter-range cluster versions, giving Ukraine the ability to strike high-value assets deep behind the front lines. The Russian-installed governor of Sevastopol, Mikhail Razvozhayev, said Russian air defenses had repelled a massive attack on Sevastopol, including several missiles around the Belbek airfield. Pro-Ukrainian partisan movement ATESH, which operates in Crimea, said on Wednesday that the Belbek airfield's main artillery warehouse was damaged, compromising missiles used by Russian jets to fire at Ukraine. Oleksandr Sherba, Ukraine's former ambassador to Austria, said on Thursday that multiple jets, an AS-400 air defense system, and possibly a strategic missile carrier had been destroyed at the Belbek airfield in the past 2 days. Photographs circulated widely online on Wednesday appeared to show a damaged S-400 radar, but they could not be independently verified. In a separate statement late on Wednesday, Razvozhayev said the Russian military had repelled another Ukrainian attack on the port city. Moscow said Ukraine had fired ATACMS at unspecified facilities at around 11 p.m. Moscow time on Wednesday night. 5 missiles were destroyed by Russian air defenses over Crimea, the Russian government said. Kyiv has upped its attacks on Crimea, the peninsula to the south of mainland Ukraine that Moscow has controlled for a decade. Kyiv has vowed to reclaim the territory and frequently targets military installations like the Belbek airbase, which belonged to Ukraine prior to the Russian annexation in 2014. In late January, a Ukrainian strike destroyed a Russian bunker at the Belbek airbase, British intelligence assessed earlier this year. Meanwhile, Ukraine is fighting a war of national survival. Russia has shown no desire for peace talks, but aid to Ukraine is not charity, and Russia is one of America's top geopolitical adversaries. A weakened Russia on the global stage makes America stronger, as Speaker Mike Johnson, ARLA, recently stated. Russia works in coordination with Iran and China against U.S. interests, and one would also add North Korea and Hamas to that list.